the family. Just glad to see you parents and students. Always a pleasure to have our community with us in our board meetings. So we will begin our meeting with Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Sheep.
Everyone, please stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Sheep. May I have a motion at this time to accept the agenda?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda has been accepted. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for October 23rd, the regular meeting in December?
Motion to approve minutes for October 23rd.
May I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes have been approved for October 23rd, 2023. We will have our introduction of newly hired employees. Dr. Perry Higgs.
Good evening, Chair Porter, Vice Chair, board members, and Dr. Pratt. Tonight, I would like to introduce, they were contacted, I'm not sure if they're present with us tonight, but we do have Shayna Smallwood. She is a school bus driver for AES. Justina Holloman, school bus driver for the middle school, and Mr. Derek Ely, the head custodian for Ahoskie Elementary School. Thank you.
At this time, if there are any new employees who are present, we want to welcome you to the Hertford County Public Schools family. You couldn't have chosen a better family to join. If there's anything that we could assist you with, please let us know. And again, welcome and thank you.
Thank you. We will have our student recognitions with Mrs. Tanya Freeman, please.
Good evening. I'm not Tanya Freeman, but we'll be doing our student recognitions this evening. Okay, good evening, Chair Porter, members of the board, Dr. Pratt. We have our Student Advisory Council that we would like to introduce to you this evening. Students, when I call your name, well, before we do that, students that are part of the advisory, would you please come forward and stand in the front? Student advisory students have been meeting with our superintendent. They have been discussing student educational issues and advocating for their peers, and they've had a great time meeting with our superintendent. These students today are going to read something on a PowerPoint presentation for you all in just a moment. Okay, you can go ahead and begin.
We are the Student Advisory Council.
The Superintendent Student Advisory Council consists go ahead. The Superintendent Student Advisory Council consists of student representatives from each high school. Students participate in a collaborative manner to develop their leadership skills while representing their school communities and building positive school climate. Students have the opportunity to identify challenges they encounter at their school, as well as collaborate and discuss viable solutions.
We have meetings with the superintendent throughout the year to advise superintendents on the issues and importance that are important to the students and learn about upcoming events and activities. SAC has the important job of being ambassadors to the students and to serve willingly and responsibly and share updates.
Members of the Superintendent Student Council will use their communication and leadership skills to strengthen students' advocacy to promote positive change within schools and across the district. Encourage student voice by addressing issues, sharing perspectives, and providing feedback. Develop projects that will enhance the school's culture and learning environment. Increase student involvement in district initiatives and programs.
Members of the Superintendent Advisory Council must demonstrate respect while listening to the viewpoints and/or concerns of group members, attend the meetings regularly, and complete assigned tasks and/or projects, actively participating in group discussions by providing feedback and support, commit to growing as a leader of Hertford County Public School community members. Members of the Superintendent Student Council will be prepared in between meetings. School designee will share relevant data and information with council members. Students will provide a list of possible topics for input to the superintendent. School designee will collaborate with council members in preparation for meetings. Council members will assemble and discuss pertinent or relevant information with their school administrator and student government learned during meetings.
So meet our SA SAC team, give them a hand. We would like for you all to,
Introduce.
that's what we will get, yes, ma'am. We would like for you to say your name, your school and your grade, and just pass it along.
My name is Quasi Clark. I'm in the 10th grade and I attend CS Brown.
My name is Naisha Boone. I am in the 10th grade and I attend CS Brown High School STEM.
My name is Jada Lloyd. I go to Hertford County High School and I am in the 12th grade.
My name is Madison Morris. I attend Hertford County Early College High School and I'm in the 11th grade.
My name is Janaria Hurl. I'm a 9th grader at CS Brown STEM.
My name is Hannah Joyner. I'm a senior at Hertford County Early College.
My name is Innocent Lassiter and I'm a sophomore at Hertford County Early College.
My name is Trent Davis and I'm a junior at Early College.
Board members and Dr. Pratt, will you please come forward to take a picture?
Y'all step out about 2 steps. There you go. There you go.
I just wanted to say for one moment in conversation with Dr. Pratt, how he had spoken so highly of you students. And may I say what you say? They have great ideas. That you have good ideas coming forth, and that he has really enjoyed his sessions with you thus far.
Absolutely. Great group of students, and I'm gonna tell you, they give me a lot of feedback on what's going on in our schools and what we can improve and what we're doing right. So it's a honor for me to serve them and listen to their feedback to help us better our district overall. So great job to you guys, and thank you for showing up tonight.
Okay, we'll move on to our veterans recognitions, Mrs. Norman.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Good evening again, Chair Porter, members of the board, Dr. Pratt. We would like to recognize our veterans that work for Hertford County Public Schools. We would like to express our appreciation for the commitment and sacrifices made by each of you who served in the armed forces. Oftentimes, you endure challenging circumstances and make personal sacrifices to protect and serve our country. And tonight, we would like to show just a small token of gratitude. Please stand and come forward to receive your certificate when I call your name, okay? So we'll start at BPS. Curtis Freeman. Tony Leary. Kelly Winborn. All right, so now Hertford County Middle School, we have April Blackwell. Lorasia Howell. John Kirsheimer. All right, now we have Hertford County High School, Shatasia Sharp. Randy Cherry. Randy Beal. Billy Cherry. Willis Wood. And Keith Trotman. Now, district office, Derek Pitt. Woodson Hunter. Ernest Cooley. And April Wright. All right, let's give our veterans a round of applause. Board members, picture.
We got enough for platoon here.
Hey, Pops. Thank you.
At this time, I would really like to give a special thank you to our veterans and their families for giving their dedication, responsibility, and why I include your families is because they give so much also. But we respect you so much for and we enjoy the freedom that we have by your service. So we really appreciate every year that you have been involved in the military, whatever branch. And we thank you for your service. Is there anyone else? So thank you. I was our staff recognitions at this time. Mrs. Norman.
Good evening again, Board Chair Porter, Vice Chair Hall, board members, and Dr. Pratt. We present to you this evening our November Be the Bar Employees of the Month. Our Be the Bar initiative, once again, will recognize our staff monthly from each school and district office for their excellence in the classroom, school, community, and their leadership. The goal of the Be the Bar staff recognition is to recognize our employees' commitment to excellence and show our appreciation for their dedication to our district. Their pictures, of course, are on the bulletin board out in the front and in here. On behalf of Hertford County Public Schools District Office, November Be the Bar employees, we thank you and congratulations. When I call your name, please stand and walk over to receive your certificate. Remain in the front, and we will start with the certified and get a group picture. So AES is Kristen Beckham, 5th grade science. BPS, Belinda Burkett, 2nd grade MCL. RES, Elizabeth Jones, instructional coach, K-5. Hertford County Middle School, Janine Hamilton, 6th through 7th, 8th, CTE teacher. Hertford County Early College, Joe Burt DeMonico, 9th through 11th grade, math teacher. CS Brown, Daniel Lee, 9th through 12th, English teacher. Hertford County High School, Shamika Archer, 9th through 12th grade, CTE teacher. Okay, board members, Dr. Pratt, let's get a picture with our certified staff. Oh, you're right. Pause one moment. Thank you. District office. You're right. Mr. Hunter, he's still part of that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm staying right here. And now we'll start with our classified. All right, I classify AES, Wanda Moore, 4th through 5th grade math, Reach Associate. BPS, Iris Newsom, 2nd grade instructional partner. RES, Shawanda Bishop, K through 5, technology instructional partner. Hertford County Middle School, Selma Carter, Exceptional Children's Program. Thank you. Hertford County Early College, Judy Boone, Secretary, Payroll, Data Manager. C.S. Brown, Shirley Smith, bus driver. Hertford County High School, Wayne Outlaw, bus driver. And District Office, Leah Weaver, Executive Assistant to the Superintendent and Board of Education. All right, let's get a picture, board members and Dr. Pratt. If you all will step up so they can get behind you.
Take them out.
We want to say how valuable you are. Our certified and classified people. Thank you so much for doing on a daily basis what we really need. They are out of Holly was being a bus driver. Oh, she was my bus driver when I was in school. So it's been a long time.
But you know, but Chair Porter, if I could just quickly, not singling out any group, for all of them especially.
Yeah.
But those bus drivers, each and every day is well known. They're the first ones that see that child before he or she gets out of campus. And I just appreciate them, and I want to go back a minute quickly and salute those veterans again, and with any kind. My family is deep in that.
And I still am.
And you are there, that's right. But anyway, thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Couldn't they let Mrs. Carter leave the building? I don't know if she wants me to say anything.
Go ahead, you can talk. I just hope I share with this, the lotion, for all of my principals in here that I can work under.
Perfectionist. Mrs. Carter is also retired.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say it has been a pleasure working with you. You know how I feel. She's been very dedicated, loyal, and she did the very best she could. Extra hours. Do you remember those folders we put together at the beginning of the year? Very low to Hertford County Schools.
Thank you.
Simple thank you can't say enough, but we really do appreciate your service. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, lost in a thought a minute. Our 2022-2023 audit report, Mr. Alan Thompson of Thompson, Price, Scott, Adams and Company create. Good evening.
Good evening. And post happy Thanksgiving. Hope you have a good one.
Thank you very much.
You should have a copy of this presentation summary at your desk. I'm gonna run through this real quick. The main thing you hire us as an independent audit firm is to issue an opinion on the financial statements as a whole. We issued unmodified report or quote unquote clean report with no findings, which is awesome. If you'd be kind enough to flip over to page 1. Under significant audit findings, what we're looking for there is accounting policies, accounting estimates, and financial statement disclosures. We were happy and fine with all of those. On page 2, there were no difficulties encountered in performing the audit, no uncorrected misstatements, no disagreements with management. Management did provide us with a representation letter dated November 19th. We're unaware that management consulted any outside accountants, auditors, etc. The one thing that did happen that is not a finding, just a comment, GASB 96, which is a new standard, which seem to come out more often than they should, required a journal entry to increase expenditures. The first year of implementation was the year ending June 30, 2023. And I'm not sure I can explain it unless I sit down and get it right in my mind, but basically all your subscription-based technology has to be recorded as a liability. So if you've got software that lasts more than a year, or you anticipate it being lasting longer than a year, you've got to accrue that as an outstanding liability on your books. There was a $1.3 million adjustment that had to be posted, realizing it's a non-cash adjustment, and it didn't have any impact long-term on what you had already approved, but the standard did change during the year. It's frustrating because if you're old like me and been doing this for almost 40 years, then what you traditionally have managed by is almost been a cash flow basis on fund accounting, especially in your general fund. And some of the new standards are trying to take future liabilities and bring them into the general fund, which gets difficult to manage from a cash flow basis. So that's the only comment we had. If you'd be kind enough to flip over to page 4. Top line there, or what we attempt to do, let me say this, in the first column is to pull out some of the key numbers in the audit report and put them here, and then put the 4 prior years audit reports there so that you have some idea of context and not just a number out in space. So you can see the general fund balance of $1,404,000. You can see the impact of that $1,003,000 journal entry there. Restricted fund balance at $13,259. Unassigned fund balance $163,000. General fund expenditures at $5,855,000. Fund balance available as a percentage at 23.76. Unassigned fund balance at 2.79. And then revenues over and under expenses before transfers, a negative 2.9 in general fund. Capital outlay was a positive $5,000, and child nutrition is $382,000 positive. You see your cash in the general fund there, $1,662,000. Cash in your capital outlay at $1,352,000. Other restricted at $5.7 million, and then child nutrition $1,335,000. Fund balance again $1,004,000. Capital outlay is $1,093,000. Other restricted at 5.8, and child nutrition at $383,000. You see the breakdown of your general fund revenues there. Big one being Hertford County, at 4.3. And then I'm not going to read all the numbers in the general fund expenditures there, but you can see the bottom number there. Total expenditures 7.3. Realizing of that 7.3, 1.3 is a non-cash entry that I was talking about. And then on the bottom is the state public school fund and federal grants money coming in at $24 million for the state and $8.5 million for the federal. And if you combine those, that's the highest amount of state and federal funds for any of the 5 years shown. If you flip over to page 5, you can see your analysis of fund balance and general fund there at the top. That 1.3 entry did have an impact there, and the same thing was the impact on the bottom as well. So there were more expenditures, and I'm not downplaying that in the current fiscal year, but that journal entry did have an impact on that. On page 6, revenues over and under expenses before transfers. Again, you see the general fund there. On the bottom, though, from a very positive standpoint, you see the child nutrition net assets popping up. And where I was complaining earlier, my little whine for the night about the non-cash entry of GASB 96. You see on the bottom of that, the non-cash entry that had to be made for GASB 75 as it related to OPEB, which is $1,335,000, which kind of tanked the fund balance in the child nutrition back in 18. And you see it pulling back up And that's the kind of challenges that you are facing, your finance staff is facing, some of these non-cash entries that are supposedly making these statements more user friendly, if you will. Not sure that's the case, but on page 7, you see cash balances and fund balances there in a pie chart with the respective numbers underneath those. Total cash, 10,083,000, and total fund balance is 8.7 million. And then on page 8, you see the Hertford County allocation and fines and forfeitures there at the top, and a breakdown from general fund expenditures there in a pie chart. And then finally on page 9, you see a breakdown or a bar chart there with state public school fund and federal grant fund allocations. And again, that's overall the highest it's been in the 5 years shown. The main thing you do hire us though is that opinion, and we gave you a clean opinion, no findings. Your staff's doing a good job. Obviously, y'all are monitoring that. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Happy to answer any questions you ever had. You're welcome to call the office, tell them, give you my cell number, and I'll get you an answer on your question.
Are there any comments, concerns?
So that $1.3 million, it's an expense, but it's not really a cash expense, right?
Correct.
Because all it does is make our fund balance look worse than it is.
Correct.
Right.
Kind of like the child nutrition where it had that big hit.
Yeah, I see that. I had my fund balance circle, so I'm glad you explained it.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
Mayor,
sir.
I just want to say, thank you for the work that you do each and every year for us and your candid comments. Sorry, you from Whitesville, right?
Yes, sir.
Sorry y'all came last Friday night. No, I'm not sorry. But yes, sir. We y'all played a good game. Your kid, they played a good game.
Yeah, I was not here, but 17-14 is a good representation for us, and congratulations.
Well, we didn't get too far. That was up in Elizabeth City. But thank you for your kids coming. Thank you for the how they represent in Whitesville.
That's good.
They did a good
Glad
job.
to hear that.
And then with that being said, the last thing though is I want to thank Dr. Pratt and the staff for these positive looking numbers. And we know that we don't have all the dollars we need, but helping us to allocate them in an effective and efficient manner is what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Our kids deserve all that we can give them. Yes, and there's some dollars in here somewhere, Dr. Pratt. There's some dollars in here somewhere. I don't tell me not, because the gentleman just said. I'll leave it be. Thank you,
Wow.
Madam Chair.
You're right.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
and we'll have a safe trip back. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
I ain't put Whitesville in there.
All right, we'll move right along. Is there any public input?
No.
Okay, our field trip request, Miss Sidbury.
Good evening, Board Chair Porter, Vice Chair, board members, administration, and Dr. Pratt. Seeking approval for the trip that was submitted for Hertford County Early College.
May I have a motion at this time? Are there any questions or concerns? May I have a motion at this time to approve the trip presented by Early College?
So moved, Madam Chair.
May I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Trip submitted by Early College has been approved. School improvement plan, Mrs. Sidbury.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. For each school, the school improvement plan represents the school community commitment to the holistic development of our students, fostering a culture of continuous improvement and ensuring that each child in their school receives a high quality education. Each school is annually required to update this plan. We look forward to collaboratively working with the board, educators, family, and our communities to continue to bring about positive change for each of our schools. Submitted for the board's approval are each school's individual school improvement plans for review and posted for your review. The superintendent recommends approval of the 23-24 school improvement plans.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns?
Madam Chair, am I correct, and this superintendent, you can help me with this, these plans are submitted to Ron?
Yes, sir. It's using the IndaStar and NC platform. And so these are just PDF copies. These are living, breathing documents that we'll continue to update as we change strategies and have results. Students, our schools update that in their annual quarterly reviews. And so this is the ongoing process, but we wanted to bring that forth to the board.
When is this submission date?
December, the first week in December.
That's what I thought. That's probably right around the corner. So it need to be approved. Right.
Yes, sir.
Are there questions, comments? May I have a motion to approve the school improvement plan as presented?
Madam Chair, if I'm in order, I make a motion that we approve the school improvement plans as presented by the administration.
May I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed. School improvement plan has been submitted. We'll move on, Ms. Sidbury again, with our district improvement plan.
Good evening, board and administration. We bring forth the district improvement plan for a second read. This is a comprehensive plan that mirrors our strategic plan, but gives a highlight to the work that we are doing annually to move teaching and learning in our school district and change outcomes for our student. The superintendent recommends the district improvement plan for second read for approval for this time. And this is also submitted to the Department of Public Instruction in early December after board approval.
Are there comments, questions, concerns? May I have a motion at this time? May I have a motion at this time to approve the second reading of the district improvement plan as presented?
So motion to approve the district improvement plan.
May I have a second?
Second.
All opposed? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
The district improvement plan, the second reading has been approved at this time. Okay, Ms. Sidbury, District SEL Survey Day.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Board Chair Porter, board members, administration. I bring forth a comprehensive review of our district socio-emotional survey results. I'm going to take the board, since this is the first time bringing this data comprehensively, going to walk you through the process, the partnership, the data, and the results in our next steps. Are you controlling this or me? Okay, praise the Lord. All right. So our agenda today is talk about our purpose and partnership with Panorama Education, which is the company we contract with to do our survey. Talk to you about survey design is a little bit different than surveys that you would typically take and how it's reported. I'm going to report to you on survey participation, overall data insights, as well as connection opportunities to our strategic plan and district improvement plans, and then also describe to you our next steps. So our partnership began with Panorama in March 2023. That was under the leadership of Ms. Dee Biggers. The survey was given very roughly in June, right as students were leaving. So we did not have a great sample in terms of our data, but it did lift up to us some insights on things that we need to focus on for our students. As a part of this administration this year for the 23-24 school year, we'll administer this Panorama survey twice a year. It was administered on October the 19th for all students, staff, and also to our families. We will administer this again in April, not hoping, but showing evidence of how we have put strategies in place and supports in place and have improved our data in terms of addressing the socio-emotional learning needs of our staff, students, and families. In general, you're going to find that our district improvement plan has connections to this data. It's noted several times in the district improvement plan where we note surveys and feedback, either from our stakeholders, from our families around inclusivity. And so this survey is the survey. We use the word survey in our district improvement plan because we know that vendors come and go, but this is serving as that leverage for giving us that feedback for all three areas. In terms of the survey design, you're going to find that each student and staff and families are asked questions in a particular way. It's wanting us, students and families, to report back on a Likert scale. How likely are you? How positive is this? How respectful is this? And so these statements are framed as a question rather than a statement, and it allows us to kind of anchor in the middle as being average, everything on the not and slightly being a negative response, and everything in the quite and extremely being a positive response. So all of our results tonight are the results of the positive response, everything that is above neutral in terms of our student and family responses. So this gives you an example of this question, and you can see, as I noted, what you will see in terms of percentages is not the percentage of all students, it's the percentage of students and families and staff that noted these questions as favorable, being on that positive side. You'll also notice in our data, the color coding, you'll see orange letting us know that we are below the national average as it reports for this. So the great thing about Panorama, we can compare across our schools. We can also compare nationally. And so you will see words in orange and words in green, and those will signify that we are below the state, below the national average when it comes to these particular colors. So here is overarchingly what the survey entails. For students, we asked them about challenging feelings, emotional regulation, their positive feelings, etc. For our teachers, we're asking them about professional learning, the school climate, how they get feedback and coaching from the leaders in the school. And for families, we asked them about barriers to engagement. What do they want to see Hertford County Public School bring forth? Their feelings about family support and also school safety. Okay. In general, you'll see that we increase our survey participation with the exception of our staff and teachers. And I'll tell you why a little bit later on in the presentation, but we increase our survey responses in all areas with our students and also with our families, noting a 161% increase in our family participation from the previous school year, June, to now in October 2023. You'll see here that this is the diversity and the representation of our survey data. You'll see that we have females and males, different age groups as different race groups as well. And we see overarchingly an increase in our representation and participation for 3-5. And you'll see that duplicated here at 6-12. Overarchingly, we increase our students and our families in terms of just their participation and getting their feedback and learning about their needs. So into our student surveys, you're going to see in those big buckets, challenging feelings, emotional regulation, positive feelings, self-management, self-efficacy, and social perspective taking, that we see overarchingly our students are improving and seeing a positive change in how they feel about themselves and how they feel about their schooling. You see in grades 3-5, there is a 0 there, noting no change from June 2023 to October 2023. And you see an X in the social perspective taking for 3-5 because students are not age appropriate for those type of questions. And so you will see those come forth in a middle school. So I'm going to take you a little deeper into each of these areas without belaboring it, but to give you a little bit of insight on how our students are feeling in our classes and in our school. So when we think about our highest favorable question, you'll see that our students have very positive feelings about themselves, about their school. And in 6-12, we see the positive 71% of students believe they have positive self-management, meaning turning in assignments, keeping up with their work, doing the things that they need to do. Now, what we will note is that in both our highest and lowest questions, those questions are the same in terms of being a high question or low question for 3-5 or 6-12. And our highest question is during the last week, how often do you feel excited? Reporting 82% of our students reporting feeling positive and excited. And then also the lowest question is how often do you feel safe? and noted 60% of our students noted that they felt safe, which is a positive 9% increase in June. However, we still know we have work to do. And so lots of things can be attributed to this, the leadership of our principals, but we also like to think that our implementation of our PBIS matrix school-wide across all schools also speak to the positive feelings and the self-management. As we look deeper into self-management, this slide shows you both our highest questions and our lowest questions. They are the same, and that is thinking about the highest questions. How often do you follow directions? Remember, this is self-reported by the students. They believe they are following directions, 83% of them. Okay, this is their self-report. And also and for our high schoolers, 88% of them report that they follow directions. And how often were you polite? 88% of our high schoolers are secondary students, 612, report themselves to be highly polite to adults. Our lowest questions here you see is something that we really want to shine a light and put some attention on, which is the same question. How often did you remain calm even when someone was bothering you or saying bad things? Roughly 43% of our students report that they are able to stay calm and not react. And so we're working, I'll talk to you later about what we're working on with student support services, but this is something to keep our eye out on as a school and as a school community. When we think about our lowest favorable percentages, those come into areas that is around challenging feelings, emotional regulation, and self-efficacy. And so in general, these questions, the highest question we see in the past week, how often do you feel lonely? 55% of our students report feeling lonely in 3-5. And at high school or secondary, how often are you able to control your emotions when you need to? 54%, which means on the flip side, you know that it's almost half of our students who say that they are not able to control their emotions. And so we really want to equip them with the skills and strategies, and we all are going to have to help and support them with that. Because if we don't help them in our school, we're releasing them into our community and not being able to regulate their emotions and not being able to stay calm. All right, so our glows and grows, you're going to see here in each column that we are looking at 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12 around these areas. In general, we have glows. We had an increase in emotional regulation for our Hispanic population. Our Pacific Islander or Native American group has a positive uptick of 22% in challenging feelings. We also know that on the other side, we see some challenging things. The multiracial comment, which is of the area there in M, multiracial students report challenges with emotional regulation, positive feelings, self-efficacy, and self-management. So we want to dig deeper into our data and think about how our students are being impacted, not just by grade level, but also by our student population and student demographic group. When we look across our glows and grows for 612, we see a lot of positive. We also see that grade 12 had higher percent favorable in all topic areas. So what that means to us, the longer you are with us, the better you are in terms of being able to manage yourself in these things. So we need to help our students at a younger age. At our high school, our principals are doing a great job with equipping them with these strategies, but we have to get better at doing it at the lower grades. All righty, so this is a comparison when you look across our schools, and remember, orange is a change in terms of it being a lower percentage of favorable, and green is a higher percentage of favorable. So you see EOI to BOI, we're looking across that change. So we see that CS Brown has many positives in their BOI with the green and challenging feelings, positive feelings, but we also do see a good bit of orange there and leave some things to expire. Along emotional regulation and self-management, which is something that we're going to be looking across all grade level, all grade spans, about how we equip our teachers, our counselors, and our administrators with the strategies to support our students. All right, so that was the students. In terms of families, we asked our families several questions about their barriers to engagement. And one of the things that they noted was how busy their schedule was the lowest positive percent. So in terms of what our families are saying is they want to be engaged, but their schedule doesn't warrant it. And so we have to think about as an organization to help our families realize that being engaged may not physically be coming to the school. Being engaged may be sending canned goods. Being engaged may be responding to emails. Being engaged may be calling the school and talking to teachers and administrators. So we just, in terms of our perception of this data, it's about better helping our families understand what engagement looks like. Teachers and families can be highly engaged and maybe not set foot in the school at all, but still have a significant impact. And we want to make sure that our families know that they have ways to be engaged, even if their schedule is limited. To our teacher and our staff surveys. When we look across our teacher and staff survey data, we see overall positive growth in terms of comparing June until October. We see positive changes in our data in terms of leadership relationships. Our principals have great relationships with our teachers and our staffs. The professional learning around equity, you see that we have a 13-point increase there in our data with our staff in terms of focusing on equity. And then we also have some need for continued feedback and coaching. Our staff really wants to hear from their leaders around what they're doing well and concretely what they can do to improve. So one of the things we asked our staff is about professional learning. In both groups, they see the value in the opportunities for professional learning, but it is around the occurrence when it happens. So we want to continue to get feedback to our staff, use our calendar and our early release days and our work days in a way that promotes professional learning so that teachers can take advantage of that. And we continue to look here, how helpful are your colleagues? You see that our staff, overarchingly, almost 70% of them say that their colleagues' ideas really support them. How much do you learn from your leaders? Almost 70% of our staff in a favorable way. They learn a lot from our leadership. How valuable and available are professional learning? 65% of our staff report that professional learning is valuable and also available to them. And how supportive has your school been in your overall professional growth? For our teachers, 72% of them report that their school is very supportive and supports them with their professional growth. Now, at the bottom, you see that these are our lowest present favorable questions around individualizing professional learning, which is well received. We want to provide an opportunity for all teachers to tap into things that they believe are their strengths. So we will be looking to provide and expand those opportunities. We also want to help them explore new ideas. So we'll be working across all departments to find more professional learning to support teachers with, but also encourage our teachers to be the ones providing that professional learning. They're the boots on the ground. They have the most insight. So we'll be moving towards that individualization and also that leadership capacity building in our coming months. All righty, so some plannings here is to think about our self-efficacy across our schools, which I have noted to you. We want to make sure the self-efficacy is around how confident they feel about their ability to complete hard assignments. Do I believe I can do difficult work? And so most of our students believe they can. 68% believe that they can in 3-5, 64% believe that they can in 6-12. But what about the rest? And so we want to continue to strive there. And you can see in both of those areas, the +4 and a +9 from the previous June 2023 data. We're going to continue to focus on this, and I'll be sharing some next stuff around this area in particular. Also, we're going to be focusing on with our families about how we create school environments that help students learn, working on what collaboration looks like in our schools, and also how much respect your children have for the school staff is also something we want to hear feedback from our families about what that means to them, what that looks like in our work to continue within our strategic plan. We kind of talked about these. All right, so in terms of next steps, I wanted to lift up a few things and say kudos to our school administrators who lead this work in their schools. In terms of our next step with Panorama, we do have an RFP currently posted for our socio-emotional learning curriculum. This curriculum will be a standard across our schools in terms of the strategies and the lessons that we use to empower our students and have those difficult conversations. We want to make sure that the curriculum is particular to students of color, and also with cultivating that mindset of excellence in the pursuit of excellence. With the Student Services Department, we plan to continue to work with our counselors to provide holistic support, but counselors also have had an opportunity to dig into this data and develop their own plans. We're meeting on this Friday to talk more about what those individual plans will look like for pulling students and pulling small groups. In terms of our staff, we're going to continue to get our feedback from our staff and make adjustments based on their needs. And in terms of our families, we're going to be providing standardized resources at home in grades K-8. One of the things that families really ask, which may surprise you, board, is homework. Families ask for homework. They ask for additional practice at home for their students and also support with that practice. And so we're going to be standardizing that resource at K-8. We will also have after school extended learning programs at every single school that will provide that space for additional support for our families. In addition to that, our parent engagement efforts will be supported by Mrs. Williams, which is the leader of our strategic plan area of parental engagement or engagement in general. Additionally, under the leadership of Ms. Allie Evans in our Title I Family Nights, we'll be incorporating more of these resources and strategies so that our families can get the support that they need. In terms of implementation, we'll have a standardized window, much like the teacher working conditions survey. I know all of you know what that is, where everyone sits down and take that assessment at the same time. That is the one implementation adjustment that we will make so that we can get all 100% of our staff in terms of this feedback. So thank you so much. I'm open to your questions and comments regarding our panorama. Overall, our students are feeling better about themselves, and we're super thankful to have this opportunity to report and share out our work in the area of socio-emotional learning.
You know, it's good to see the students feel more positive. And that's a big improvement since, you know, past few years and what we have been through. So I was glad to see that they had more positive feelings. And with that, I think they're on their way to accomplish whatever they have to do. Are there any other questions?
Madam Chair, just quickly, and I ditto your remarks, but also the one that the slide that dealt with equity, it seemed to be the largest increase from our state.
Yes, sir.
I thought that was a real positive.
Thank you.
Statement that our staff is beginning to see equity as something positive and not something that's taken away from any group. As we well know, equity is only opportunities.
Yes, sir.
For everybody. And but our teachers seeing that thing. That's what I saw. I think that's what I saw.
Yes, sir.
And it was the largest of the group increase.
Yes, sir.
13 point something. So I feel good about seeing that because people just don't, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, buy into the word equity because they see it differently. And it's not what some people perceive it to be. As I said to the auditor, our children deserve as much as any other child in the state of North Carolina, even though we're down here in the Northeast, which I love it myself. But I'm proud to see that, and I'm proud to see a document validating some of these issues. And of course, I just have to ask this question, and it might not be under the SEL framework, but about children feeling safe. That was not part of this SEL, I know that, but it was in the indication how they feel. Do they feel safe at school? Any question there?
Yes, sir, it is 60%. And I think that we will see. Yes, sir, it was around 60%. But I think what we hope to see is that increase with the standardized response treatment protocol that under the leadership of Mr. Cooley that we have implemented. We have provided those videos and trainings and lessons for our students so that they know what to do in the response of a crisis, as well as that PBIS matrix. So we are hoping in the spring with some additional support, we'll see that improving as well.
I think that is an excellent point too. How they feel, because we have heard as board members that some kids don't feel safe in school, this and that. And I'm sure that's out there, but 60% of them are saying, hey, oh, I'm okay with it.
Exactly.
And that's a benchmark that we can deal with. And I was glad to see that they answered that question appropriately. And let me shut up. I mean, it's, as you know, SEL is it's my baby. I just believe in it. And I know that our children bring to school with them some issues that the community that they come out of dealing with. And we have to deal with that at our level. But with data.
Yes, sir.
Not using a shotgun approach, but using a rifle, one shot at a time, instead of spreading it all over. But don't let me forget, Madam Chair, but I need to say something about Chapter 19.
Okay.
Before we finish. Remind me of it, Madam Chair. I said somebody at Chapter 19.
That's right. Thank you, Ms.
I know what I want to ask. Is it possible, and I know what I'm gonna hear. It's online, you can pull it up. But my ink costs too much for me to print this.
Okay, yeah, we can.
Would you mind sending me a hard copy? Of this,
Absolutely.
of this presentation?
That's where we get it to you.
Right, and whether it's 40 pages or 50 pages, make no difference about that. Because the ink is on you.
That's right. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I think.
It is, and we're heading in the right direction. A lot of this is going to be a part of that strategic plan and how we are benchmarking. So hopefully if 60% of our students will stay, that over the next 5 years, we'll be even higher with that based on some of the things that we're going to implement.
And that's the goal.
That's good.
We get better each
year.
Well, it gives us a goal to shoot for anyway.
Yes, sir.
But wait, because we want to get 100% feeling right. But I mean, at least we know where we are and where we need to go. And we can look for those 40% that don't feel safe and say, why are you not doing something? What can we do to make it better? And that kind of stuff. But I mean, all that's important because we want, as all school people want, we want 100%. We don't want, we want to be do as much as we can.
What I just don't want to see them cross the street here.
Right.
And 2 or 3 folks looking through the bars at them and whatnot. But there's a place for them too.
That's right.
Place for them too. I don't think they'll be lonely. Let me leave that alone.
Yes.
We want to prevent that.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much. A lot of good information.
Yeah, that's great.
We move on our personnel report, Dr. Hicks.
Good evening once again, Chair Porter, Vice Chair Hall, board members, and Dr. Pratt. I stand before you seeking approval of the personnel report.
Are there any questions or concerns? If not, may I have a motion to approve the personnel report submitted by administration?
Madam Chair, if I'm in order, I'll make a motion that we approve the personnel report as presented by administration.
May I have a second?
A second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Personnel report by administration has been approved. We'll move down to 4.2, our fall policy update.
Yes, Chair Porter, Vice Chair Hall, board members, and Dr. Pratt. I stand to share the first read, the fall update for our board policies, and then asking to approve to post them for public comments for the next 30 days.
Are there any questions concerning the first read of this fall policy update?
None of these we have to do before. I mean, we don't have to approve on first reading, do we? Because of
No.
the.
But she wants to approve the posting
Yes, ma'am.
of those fall policy updates at this time.
Madam Chair, if she would just read the policy numbers so that is documented.
Yes, sir. 1310/4002 parental involvement. 3610 counseling program. 4040/7310 staff student relations. 4110 immunization and health requirements for school admission. 4240/7310 child abuse and related threats to child safety. 4342 student searches. 4720 survey of students. 5210 distribution and display of non-school material. 6401/9100 ethics and the purchasing function. 6430 purchasing requirements for equipment, materials, and supplies. 7100 recruitment and selection of personnel. 7130 licensure. 7510 leave. 7520 family and medical leave. 7730 employee conflict of interest. 8325 daily deposits. 9125 participation by minority businesses. 4130 discretionary admission. 4150 school assignment. 4334 5035 7345 use of unmanned aircraft, drones. 6220 operation of school nutrition services. 6230 school meal and competitive food standards. 7232 discrimination and harassment in the workplace. 7820 personnel files.
Are there any questions? May I have a motion that this Sarah should post the fall policy updates first read?
So moved, Madam Chair.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Fall policy updates for the first reading has been approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Facilities master plan 5.1, Mr. Hunter and Mr. John Red, is he?
Yeah, there he is.
Sorry. I knew I saw you in the back.
Board Chair, board members, Dr. Pratt. I stand before you as information on the facility master plan. This is a working document. It was conducted by Mr. John Barath. And he would go with.
Dr. Porter, board members, Dr. Pratt, good evening. It's great news this evening. This has been exciting to be a part of. I appreciate that. There's been a lot of work that's been done. You'll recall previously at a work session, we went over the elements and items within doing an investigation and evaluation of each and every school. We looked at every element in there, from the physical being to the systems of operation, to the capacity of the school for instruction and the availability of spaces for that instruction. And we compiled a report of that. Included in that report, as noted, we put in a prioritization of urgent needs at each school. What is recommended to be considered to be done, and organize those in a manner to assist with this discussion today. We also put a preliminary budget number to each of those items to get an idea of what that might be. And you may remember some of it. I'm a visual person, so I always like to show little brief snippets of it. We took a lot of documented photographs to help convey the condition, as well as a narrative explanation of what the problem is there at each and every school, as well as the write-up and the assessment of capacity, as well as the priority needs and the budgeting of such. So that was a foundation of what we're here to talk today about. And working with Dr. Pratt and Mr. Hunter, We went through each of these, and with your available funds and your accrued funds over years to come of how to begin tackling these items and issues. So as a part of this, there's a packet. I don't know if you have, I apologize if not. So the attachments to this, and it goes through each school, has its own assigned document of needs and information. And then there's a summary sheet at the end. So I just want to briefly walk you through how to read the information and what it says to help with the spending strategy for it. So each sheet is going to give some general building data to give you some background on what the facility is. What was the year it was built? How many square feet is it? How big is this thing? How many acres does it sit on land-wise? Little facts about that so you have a general idea about it. Then we go through identifying in categories across the page whether the item that needs to be addressed pertains to the health, safety, or welfare of the students and staff in the school, or if it's a need. So a need might be the gutters need repaired. Not going to directly impact the health, safety, and welfare of a student as opposed to cleaning the air systems in the building would have. So two different categories to consider as we go through this. We also going to talk about each and every item in there. It'll say, here's what needs to be done in this category. Is it mechanical? Is it roofing? Is it kitchen? Is it flooring? Is it toilet rooms? What is it? Then what specifically needs to be done? Why does it need to be done? What year strategically are we proposing to plan to get the work started to get done? How much will it cost? And where's the money coming from? The most important part. I always save that for the end. So a typical sheet looks like this. And it's hard to read from there, and I apologize for that, but you can see the columns working across left to right. The far left column on the documents, when you read them, will tell you in there, what is it, a health, safety, welfare requirement or a general need. The second column over is where we identify the category: mechanical, flooring, building envelope, kitchen, whatever that may be. The next column over, oh, thank you so much. I could never do that from this remote. The next column over, which is just cut off on the left of the screen there a little bit, is the scope of work. This tells you the work that needs to be done, what it may be in there, such as it may be, you know, repair the fence around the chiller, replace the gutters, replace the electrical distribution system, what it may be. The next column over is why. Why do we need to do this? Well, the fence has been taken down in sections because the electrical system is failing and you can't find components anymore from that manufacturer because they went out of business 2 decades ago. Items such as that are carried into this to help understand what's being asked for and why. Then the next columns over, the two of them are the year strategically we're identifying that the funds are allocated for that particular work. And so this is organized chronologically, starting with 2023 and then working through these next couple years. The blank column to the right of this is a year funded. That's one we want to populate as we work through this. Remember, this is going to be a living document. Needs always change. Something we may have forecasted to happen in 2027 fails sooner and it needs to move up. So there'll be a dynamic developments in this through the years to come, but this is your starting point and it gets revisited every year, evaluated to see if things need to change in priority or need. The next one is the budget item that I mentioned previously. Now, the next 4 columns are your funding opportunities. The first column is your public school building capital fund lottery. This is what you're used to over many past years of the allocation of funds that come from the state through the lottery to you to use on capital needs. Then, as you recall, a couple of years ago, General Assembly built upon that and put together the Repair and Renovate Fund from the lottery. And so that's relatively new. And for 3 years, thank you to the General Assembly to continue it again in the upcoming year and increasing the disbursement from that for school districts. So that's a positive. Then the next column is your local capital. County commissioners allocate in your budget a capital fund expenditure for you to help upkeep facilities. And then the last one on the right is the one you're also familiar with, and that's a needs-based grant program from the lottery. You knew Hosky Elementary School is the example of that. And in that, it's continuing. They continue to fund that now for this upcoming year. Hopefully they continue to fund it for many years to come. Great opportunity for rural school districts. And then the last column on the far right is just notes, just some unique things that might be of pertinence to any of these items that we're talking about there. So when you look through the sheets on each and every school, I want you to understand how to read it across the sheet so you can see what's planned to be done, when it's planned to be done, and what's funding it. So you'll have one of these for each of the schools, except Hosky being new, it doesn't have any critical needs out there right now, but these do. Going to the next slide is, and I pushed the button, I'm sorry. Okay, so stay right there, actually, that's a nice one. You also have a summary sheet, because we always like to cut to the chase. Give me the picture in one statement here for this. What are we looking at? There's the details earlier, now's this. As Dr. Pratt and I presented to you during a work session, I think it was 2 months ago at this point, your current standing on funds is very good for capital needs. You have just over $3.2 million in your lottery allocation. You also have just over 1.3 here for repair and renovate. You also have in local capital, and this is kind of an average, $450,000 allocated. Okay, those first three are your current funds. So that is good news. As we said before, you have money to begin the improvements at these schools. The next three are your annual anticipated revenues from funds to continue to accrue and apply to these over the years to come. So at the, to be conservative, looking at your history on lottery distribution, 180,000 a year. Been higher than that. It's also been lower for a brief period, but I think that's a good planning number to use moving forward right now. The Repair and Renovate Fund, the General Assembly has responded very positively to that fund and its use in districts and the needs, and have invested more money in it this year. And so it's anticipated they'll continue it. As long as the lottery funds continue to be there available, I think the General Assembly is likely to continue it. So I went low, $350,000. Now, 3 years they've been doing this. Each year they've increased the amount, but I went back to about the first year, which was about 350,000. And then your annual outlay for capital from the county is 450,000, but just for planning purposes, always want to be on the conservative side, identifying 350,000. So the left, three on the left, current, the three on your right are what you can anticipate as annual accruement of funds. Okay, makes sense so far. You show the whole page. So what this does is on the left, it's year by year, 2023, 2024, 25, etc. Then you get to the columns. The first column is a summary of all the schools for 2023, how much in health, safety, and welfare is being requested to fund. So in this case right there, $325,000. For 2023, how much in need categorized capital improvements are there? 358,000. The next column totals those, just so you have a sum total for that year, 683,000 requested for 2023. Moving to the right from there are the funding categories. Where's that money coming from? So 200,000 would come from the lottery, 40,000 from repair and renovate, 443,000 from local capital. No money yet to be allocated should you get awarded for any needs-based grants for any of the work. The far right is your balance. So the far right takes your first three columns on your revenue you have. 3.2, 1.3, 450,000, and subtracts the 683,000. So for current year 2023, you'd have 4.3 million remaining. Okay. Now that's not because we haven't found a way to spend it. It just takes time to get the projects ready to go. And in 2024, we're going to start taking some big steps in there. So 2024, health, safety, and welfare has over $15 million in requests. All right, so that's going to set off some alarms, and it should, because I just told you, you got 4.3 million balance remaining, but some of those are needs-based grants. So of the summary in the distribution of funds for 2024, 2.4 million is lottery, 950,000 repair and renovate, 296,000 out of local capital, 13.4 is a needs-based request. They're identified on those sheets for each school, needs-based grant requests items in there. That total $13.4 million. $13.4 million does not come out of your lottery fund, your needs-based, or your capital. That's a unique column. You'll end up with about $1.2 million at the end of the year. To 2026, you're down to $128,000. It is best practice to have money at all times in your capital fund for emergencies that come up. If a chiller goes, if a boiler goes, if something happens, you want to have 80,000 for a new chiller and piping, or you might need 100,000 for chillers, piping, boiler, whatever the need may be. You always need to have a balance available. So it's best practice to keep something there, and there could be further discussion on what the board deems is appropriate to leave as a continued minimum in your capital planning. But each year, money's coming in, and that's what this takes into consideration. And so you can see how that fund starts growing after 2027, back 350, and then over $1 million. As you can see, the urgent needs at schools that have been identified are being addressed around 2028. So this is the snapshot. The details are on the sheets for each and every school where it lays them out. There is columns on each sheet that we talked about, so you can see then which ones are need-based grant. I'll give you an example. Replacing your lighting systems in your schools. They're on T12s, fluorescent lights, which are very inefficient. Going to LED saves money operationally, dramatically reduces your costs every year. Other examples of some needs-based in there would be, let me back up a minute. Needs-based grant has specific restrictions on how you can use it. Lottery funds are very flexible. Repair and renovate's pretty flexible. Needs-based is very restrictive. You have to do something on the entire campus, all buildings, across the district, or if your campus is made up of multiple buildings, a majority of work must be done in a building. So lighting is something that can be done district-wide. Replace your lighting, more efficient, better lighting for students and staff in the rooms, reducing your operating costs, which puts more money in your local budget, okay? Things like that. Other items that are in there, I believe the asbestos consideration of mediation of that at the school is also a consideration in there. So there are items in there identified that get to that $13 million. I'm sorry, I've been doing a lot of talking and I apologize. I should have led off with just interrupt any time that you have questions. So I'm going to stop and pause for a quick second. Are there any questions on any of this right now?
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Sir, my only question is, I see your figures, I understand your figures. Now what?
Next steps.
What's the next step? I mean, we talked about this 2 or 3 months ago.
Mhm.
We saw these figures.
Yep.
Some is similar to the figures. Fully understand, but you said something a minute ago, some words that is true. If approved. If approved. It's not like we have this money in a bank account, we just go get it. It goes through DPI. And that group up there. When do we start the process of pulling down these dollars to do some of these projects? The T1, these are T12C, aren't they? That's what I thought. The lighting, for example. You see my point?
Yeah.
I mean, we're in half of the year now. When do we move to that next step? The money's there, the money's in the rock.
And I feel like you should tip you for leading me into.
Oh, we
the
are,
next statement. So
we're tips always accepted. I mean, don't feel bad or do it.
So. The
My
next,
credit will be glad. For
yes, yes, and that's, thank you for
That's
leading.
when we gonna get there.
Yep, and thank you for that leading, because that is the next process here. Is this is presented to the board as information and feedback, and to see if the board embraces this, so that I can work with Dr. Pratt and staff to prepare the requests for lottery funds to bring back to you. Also, you have joint work session December 5th.
That's already.
I'm old, my memory is not as nice as want it to be. And so obviously we want to share this information with them as well, because the funds do come from them and they need to be informed. As we had one of the representatives at our last meeting to hear this firsthand too.
I'm trying to think of his name, his department. Oh, gracious, the DPI. What's his name? I can see his face.
The guy in DPI that's going.
Nathan Monty?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not my, no, the guy who's over him. He's over Nathan.
The deputy superintendent.
Yes. You don't talk about?
I do.
It's with an L, I think, I want to say.
I can't recall.
Okay, all right, I can't either, but anyway, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
No, I know about Nathan. But there's somebody over Nathan.
Yes.
Always somebody over
Oh,
somebody.
always somebody. But that's the one I'm talking about. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's time to move.
Yeah, and we're ready to move, but we also, I think we want to make sure the county commissioners on board, because they have to sign off on the form as well. So we'll be presenting this to the county commissioners. And so if everybody's on board, once you guys give us a blessing tonight, hopefully we can get an informal blessing on the 4th from the county commissioners, and then we'll begin moving forward with submitting the application for needs-based and requesting dollars to do our projects, some projects this school year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't see the county commission saying, no, we want to give you that money.
It's a formality, hopefully.
I know, I mean, I hope so, yeah, I hope so. But I just want to see us doing it.
That's right.
You know.
And
Once again, impression makes the difference.
That's right. Jerry Oates, Dr. Jerry Oates.
Oates, yes, him, Jerry.
And that's what this is about. This is about letting the board see and understand from all the overwhelming previous information on the facilities. And I think you asked the question, how are we going to do this and stuff? So we wanted to make sure you saw how this is going to get done, where the money's coming from, what you have left to know that it's purposeful, strategic, and it's planned. Now, and again, I mentioned this during here, this is a living document. The intent is that every year it's revisited, it's updated, because the budget costs are in today dollars, first of all.
Yeah.
We don't know what escalation is going to happen. Is it going to be 8%, 6%, 12%? We don't know. So every year we want to revisit the budgets and make sure they're holding true, or if they need to be adjusted, which means maybe a plan needs to be adjusted or such. So every year we want to use this as our tool to revisit, to plan for that year's request and work that needs to be done. But this is the beginning step.
Well, see, my concern is, Madam Chair, is that somebody over in the General Assembly called for a report on dollars that's not being spent by across the state. And they'll pull it right back. Yeah, pull it right back. And then we set, we got these projects on, out here, and they might cut back or or whatever. And remember, each general assembly that comes in can change what the previous one did or did not do. But I'm not concerned about 27, 28 years. I don't think I'll be seeing too many of those years. I'm talking about 22, 20, 24, 25, them other years, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to see a building in 2019 or whatever. But anyway, I don't know how we do it, but I'm saying let's move forward. Yeah. That's just me.
Yeah, and to your point, this will help when we make the submissions for needs-based grant, because it shows how the board's going to spend the surplus of funds you do have accrued, and to show the need is strong and still there.
No sense in us having millions of dollars in Raleigh. That millions of dollars need to be down here. Doing something. That's just me.
We're ready.
Well, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm not the weather. I'm with it. Show me the carrot.
Dr. Pratt?
Yeah, we get something.
Do you want to introduce the results of the RFQ for qualifications on the?
No.
Okay.
I don't think we do, not tonight.
Okay.
I think we can come back in December.
Okay.
And do some discussions around that. But right now I get the impression from the board, we're ready to move on these dollars that we have and make sure we spend these dollars appropriately. And that may work in combination with the performance contracting, but they just want a plan for us to move forward and begin some of this work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so we can come back in December about performance contracting. Okay.
That would be great.
All right.
Thank you very much this evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
we have I have a motion to approve the facilities master plan that we sent.
I make a motion, Madam Chair, if I'm in order, that we approve the facility master plan involvement as presented tonight, with the idea of moving forward after we discuss it with our county commissioners with the project.
Second motion, Madam Chair.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Facilities master plan has been approved. And we will be meeting with our county commissioners on December 4th.
Well, see, Dr. Pratt, there's some more money there. You were telling me there's more money there now. I know it can't be used for certain things, but we can replace some money. Hey, you keep on talking, man. Ain't gonna get it. Some more money there.
Great job, Billy.
Yeah.
Good report.
That is good.
It answers.
Yeah, good to know.
Good job, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you. Thank you.
What the gentleman, are you with him?
I'm on the performance contract side.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I wonder. I
Next
can't-
month.
Okay.
One bite at a time.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, our superintendent's report, Dr. Pratt. And Ms.
5.2, yeah, 5.2.
Moving on, lunchroom modernization. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for coming.
for sharing that.
I thought it was just Sunday.
Lunchroom modernization is all.
Good evening, Chair Porter, members of the board, and Dr. Pratt. Wanted to share with you tonight some information about Hertford County High School dining room project that we've been working on. I know you're aware that the dining area needs some modernization over at the high school. We need to get it updated, need some new furniture. So what we've done, we've issued a request for proposal to include both design services as well as furniture upgrades to that area, the dining room area. We did receive 4 completed bid packages. We had one that was disqualified because they did not follow bid criteria. We had a review committee that consisted of myself, Mr. Dudley, the high school principal, Miss Evans, our federal programs director, and we scored those according to price, design, warranty, installation, as well as time frame. And so this is the one you see on the screen here. Meteor Education was the winning bidder according to that criteria, so I'm just going to share that with you. Okay, so this is the proposed design that would be at the high school. You can see the design elements, the furniture elements.
Modern.
It is, it's beautiful. It really is. All of the ones that we received were really nice. Look really good. We could have actually went with any of them. They were very comparable. This did end up being the one that was best in price, but we did score it on more than just price. So you can see,
And this is looking from the,
this right
from
here,
what's called,
this is where
from the kitchen.
this is where the students enter into the cafeteria to get their lunch. This is over. I don't know what that hall was called. But it's
The hall.
the hall, because they go here. All right, so this is the area with the windows. So that's actually on the windows, those little bears, little mama bear and little cubs there. You're supposed to be able to see through that. It's adhered to the windows, but I've asked, and you're supposed to be able to still see through that. It's got some standing tables, and you see they put the logos on the tables. We got some little lounge type seating. We kind of asked them to make that area something that if the high school so desired could be like a senior eating area, lounge type area over there. And that's just looking from that area from a different view. And that's just looking at the whole thing.
Looks very nice.
It does look very nice. We're very excited about it. So for this project, I think you probably have the information in your documents as well. The overall estimated price for this project from this vendor for design and furniture services was $254,919.75. So it was the best price. I think the other ones came in at $298 and $320.
I thought you were gonna say more than that.
And actually this company provided an excellent warranty. Pretty much all of these furniture pieces had unlimited lifetime warranty on things like the wheels, the joints, and 15-year warranty on like the surfaces. So that was one of the criteria we looked at as well. Everything had to be movable, cleanable, durable.
So in just round figures, both schools can be done for around $500,000.
Mhm. So kind of what our goal is to get this one done and then move on to the middle school the following year.
So Mr.
I
Porter,
don't wait. I don't believe it. Wait for broke the wagon.
we end up renting out our cafeterias time to time to different people. So we took in consideration that if somebody wanted to have the Chamber of Commerce meeting, I'm just using that as an example. It's been a long time since that was there, but we took into consideration that the furniture would retrofit pretty much any group if somebody did want to utilize it other than just students. We got to have some more money so Mr. Hall can spend some more.
Yeah, I spend it.
Well, we were really looking at this for students. I mean, we did tell them we wanted to focus on
Well, I mean, I think it should be.
mascot and team, you know.
I think it should be, but I also think we need to take into consideration that in Hertford County, a lot of our facilities are used by the public, and we need to be aware of that also. And I don't have a problem with the design. I'm just was asking, was any of that taken into consideration?
No, we did not include that in the RFP. We did not.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions, or our committee got anything you'd like to add? So we will, of course, need board approval.
I think that's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting to the final question. I didn't hear you talk about budget.
Okay.
Would you talk to us about that a little bit? I know you talked about price. I mean, finances. Where are these dollars coming from?
This actually was allocated in ESSER 2.
Three.
Three,
That's
sorry,
a three.
Wait a minute.
sorry,
Yeah.
three.
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we gonna wait, when? To do both of them?
Well, we only budgeted.
Budget 300,000.
We only budget 300,000 in ESSER three for this project. And so,
Okay, all right.
as we, yeah. And I think we did the other 300,000 at the middle school when we did the bathrooms, the restrooms at the middle school and the upgrades at the middle school.
I just didn't want them to think they were being left out. And I certainly don't want to go ESSER dollars, three, revert,
Oh, no.
not
no.
one dime.
No, we're spending that daily.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I can assure you,
And
they are keeping tabs on that money.
right. And we have a plan at the end for those don't do a good job in spending those. We have a backup plan B to spend it before it's time.
But right now, the
Before
big,
it's time, right?
That's right.
the $1.5 billion of ESSER free money is still to be spent in this state. $8 billion.
We'll help them if they give it to us.
I'm sure we will.
If approved and we move forward, the company has told us, the most time consuming part is getting the furniture pieces. There's like 6-month lead time. So we like to go ahead and, move forward because our goal is to have this complete installed during the summer. So when students come back in August, they walk into a complete new, facility there in the dining area.
May I have a motion at this time to approve the lunchroom modernization plan?
So move, Madam Chair.
May I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Modernization plan has been. Carried out.
They do. I was really excited about the formats and the drawings for that.
It's good.
And I pushed Ms. Hargett, if we could get the middle school done, we'll try to get it done as well, but
Just a thought.
yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. It's needed. We painted them this summer, so it'll be a nice way to go in and kind of upgrade that the cafeteria at the middle school as well. It's
You
needed.
know how sensitive Bumblesboro and the hospital.
That's right.
I mean, come on down. I mean, get about it.
Right. Uh-huh.
But anyway, that's a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job.
And thank you, Ms. Hargett, for your leadership on that. Briefly tonight, my update, my first slide is just to recognize our chair, Porter, and board member Deloach for being recognized at the North Carolina School Board Association for hours for professional training that they go to. And so Chair Porter was a bronze award and Mr. Deloach was a silver award. So congratulations to our board members that were recognized at the North Carolina School Board Association. Good job. Yeah. Keep it up. We also would like to thank Riverview Elementary School for their turkey drive. And so I had the opportunity to participate in a turkey trot on November the 21st. That's me. That's me.
You call that a turkey?
I didn't say I was good. Do you see the little girl down there in the corner with her hand over her head? Like, oh my God. Right. I tried to tell Miss Brown I had no rhythm. I couldn't do anything. You can't, but hey, I had to do it for the kids. So it was a fun time. And they seemed to enjoy it regardless of whether I had rhythm or not. But their goal was to have 100 turkeys, and they actually collected 110 turkeys that they shared with local churches in our school communities and our other schools in the district. So thank you, Miss Brown, on your leadership at Riverview and your staff and the people who gave the turkeys as well. So it was a great event. I enjoyed it. Also, we'd like to congratulate the varsity football team and the coaching staff for an outstanding season this year. Overall, they were 10-3. In the conference, they were 6-1. And so they did a great job, great season, a lot of talent on the team. And we're going to have them here in December for the board to formally recognize the football team. So way to go, Bears.
And by the way, I hear that we're gonna have a decent basketball team.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing. So save up your ticket money.
Save up your ticket
so you can
money.
get in there. Cause it ain't gonna be free.
Just some upcoming dates, December the 12th, progress report pickup. Time on December the 12th, December the 18th to January the 1st. We have no school, it's winter break. January the 3rd is the first day back for students. We're out of school again on January the 15th, and then the end of second quarter will be January the 26th, and then we're out of school on January the 29th. And as we finish up the last 3 weeks before winter break, we'd like to take this opportunity to tell everyone happy holidays, and we're looking forward to seeing them after the new year. That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Doug. Mr. Shields.
Nothing denied.
I just want to say how impressed I was with the recognitions tonight. You know, it was good to recognize our staff, but it's good also to recognize the veterans. You know, we work with these people each and every day, and we don't realize the sacrifice that they made. So this has been good just to do that. It gave me a lot of satisfaction. To Ms. Sidbury, thank you for that data. And I think Mr. Hall touched on this. You know, we're always looking at achievement data. We look at data for this, data for that, but this is the first time I think I've ever seen data about our children, how our children really feel about the schools, about their accomplishments, about the instruction. So I think that's just good information for us to look at. So thank you very much. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. I'm fighting these wires in my mouth. I'll ditto everything that was said before me. Just happy to see everybody. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you had time to spend quality time with your loved ones and your family. I would be remiss and would like to extend my condolences to a classmate of mine, Mr. Tariq Taylor. He ended up passing away before the holidays, and he's a 2006 graduate of Hertford County High School. So I'll be remiss if I didn't mention that and extend my prayers to that. Also, congratulations to our employees that we recognize tonight. Again, thank you to our veterans. And we just look forward to ending the year 2023 strong, going into 2024, and getting geared up for the second half of this race that we're running each and every day. And for that, we want to continue to say thank you. Anything you need, please let us know. And we look forward to great things coming. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Madam
And
Chair.
you did tell me to remind you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I just have to say it again. Channel 19. I don't know how many of you look at it, but now it's the weather forecast on.
Yes.
The weather, yes. You know, I don't have to go to my doohickey here and run over the house. What's the weather report? I go to Channel 19, and there it is. You know, and also though, once again, I want to emphasize the point. David, Ms. Shield, this is something you have asked about for years and years, making it a tool for more information. And now I see that, especially that thing about time being in school in the seat. And thank you for slowing it down. But one time it was like, but now it's slow enough for someone to read it, to say it's important once again for kids to be in the seat in school if we are going to make this change in their lives. And that document, the Channel 19 now is actually another tool for instructing our kids and to give information to our parents. I still enjoy the music. It used to be jazz, now it's something else. Somebody done changed it. But as soon as you get rock and roll up there now, we really gonna rock and roll with it. But I do commend you, Dr. Pratt, and your staff for the innovative nature of Channel 19. I enjoy looking at it. I really do. But mine is like 2 o'clock in the morning, or 1:30 between 1:30 and 2 o'clock. But I do enjoy it. Don't ask me what time I get up the next morning. But I tell you this, don't call me before 10 o'clock. You won't get me saying anything of substance. But with that being said, I did everything has been said about tonight and some exciting opportunities it looks like for our children and our staff. And that recognition part says something. You know, it's not what you say all the time. It's what you do. And we do it, and we are trying to recognize those people out there in that firing line each and every day, including our principals and system principals and others. Thank you. I won't say anything about state board, because we meet next week. And that'll change too. That'll change it hard. There's some exciting times are ahead of us. I will say this though. Athletic events in the state's gonna change. Our kids are become eligible. Our responsibility for that eligibility requirement. And don't forget now, starting next year, I think it is, yes. Kids can graduate with 22 units. That's right. Don't forget that we have to have something in place. Dr. Brett, you know this. Just in case we maintain beyond the 22. There can't be no more than the 20. The state's not gonna change 22. We can add 30 to it if we want to. But at 22 units, they can walk across the stage. So, you know, that's gonna be a whole new experience. And by the way, we're gonna have some kids, I think. They're gonna be eligible to walk across that stage with 22 units and never, you know, I don't know what they're gonna be able to do because, you know, they can be 17 to 16 years of age. And you can't join the Army, the Air Force until you're what, 18? What we're gonna do. So I think it'll take some more thinking on our part as to why they need maybe to stay in school and not cross that stage at 22 units.
CTE, Mr. Hall.
Yes, sir.
Let's push that CTE stuff.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct.
Let them graduate, but let them graduate with skill.
I agree totally. And that's probably where we need to be looking at as our planning stages. Everyone else is looking at it, but yeah.
Talk to Nucor Steel, see what they need. Talk to Berry Plastic, see what they need. Talk to Purdue, see what they need. Ask them what they need to make our students eligible to hire and have a skill where they can go in and make $100 grand.
You're so correct.
I mean, we've got to do that because that's really, really important because a lot of kids today are choosing not to go to college.
Yes.
Because they don't want that $150,000
it's
debt.
Debt.
You know?
Yeah.
And we can do that for them. And that'll make those people stay in school longer. If we're giving them an opportunity to get to the next level.
We just need, you are so correct.
To own a restaurant, find out.
I think you're gonna put restaurant in there today.
I mean, I'm just,
but you know,
there are opportunities out there for our children, but they don't even know what they are yet.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna end, Madam Chair, I will end with this statement. As I ride by Bojangles 3 or 4 times a day, and I look over there, I see all that. If I was a chicken, I would commit suicide. But I know where I'm at. Y'all see that? God. I would, I was a chicken, I would commit suicide right now. I know I'm end up. Anyway, and yours. I'm through.
You know, once again, it's another opportunity for our people to go to work, you know, we've been blessed where we are, but you know what? I'm so proud that they're doing what they're doing because it helps our community. You know, that's the whole deal. We're all in it for all of us.
We're all in it for, that's good. Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. And I also agree with David. It takes all kind to make it work. Skills, whatever life they choose. What's most important is they can contribute. And they will also learn there are more than 1 or 2 things to do. There's a lot to do that they haven't even thought about. It should be introduced. Takes all kind. We are interdependent upon each other.
Ms. Porter,
Yes,
I
sir.
agree with you 100%. I think what we do and what we have to do a better job of, most students don't know what's out there.
Exactly.
What we have to do a better job of is teaching them what's out there and exposing them, and maybe some internships so that they can learn for themselves what's out there. But those are the things that we've got to do as a school system, I think.
That's the same.
Yeah.
We should be doing. Okay, I would like to also say our staff left out so early. Yeah, they were ready to go.
They were ready to
Yes,
go.
yes,
They came early, they came early.
But want them to know how valued they are,
Yes.
and also you that are still in this room. We know how much it takes to get a job good. There's no doubt about that. And we appreciate your loyalty and your dedication. And even with General Assembly, we know who are in the trenches, working these jobs.
Absolutely.
And knowing what we need to do next. Ms. Zipper, I really appreciate your information. And would love to share with the community about how our students feel. They are positive, they feel safe. You know, we saw the pluses of that report, but we saw documentation from the students, from the staff. And that's what we need to move on. But I would love for parents to hear how safe their children feel. And they are positive account of.
Got a
how
great
safe
avenue.
they stay.
Channel 19, we got a great
Channel
avenue.
19.
That's what I was thinking. How can we get it on Channel 19?
Over 60%. That's
mean,
a good feeling.
These are the kids talking.
That's right.
You know. So anyway.
Would like to thank our Dr. Pratt and the finance department
Yes.
and staff
Yes.
for such a great report tonight. And always proud of our football players. I feel that they played their hearts out the other night. And we'll be glad to see them in our next board meeting. We're really proud of them. So with that, our next board meeting will be December 18th, 5:30 closed session, 7 o'clock regular session.
And work session,
Excuse me.
work session, we're December the 4th.
And December 4th, our work session from 12 o'clock until 2 o'clock. And then we'll meet with our county commissioners also on December 4th. Are there any other questions?
Oh, by the way, just in the pocket room.
Beautiful blue pack. It
Blue-
looks
Did you say
very
blue?
nice.
Did you say blue? Did you say blue?
Blue.
Thank you.
I'm colorblind. Even without the gold, those. Okay. But it does look very nice. I've noticed the
It is very
walls
beautiful.
behind such an improved
It does.
area. So we thank you.
Beautiful.
We thank you. Thank our, you know.
That's not good. He's always got my cap. He's not good. That's the blue anything.
Where is Mr.
Right
Hunter?
there.
Our veteran is in behind us. Mr. Hunter, we thank you and your team. It really does add to our meeting.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Very nice and very nice color.
Beautiful yellows.
Thank you so much.
It looks so clean and.
It does.
Yeah,
And it's a.
not that it was dirty now. I didn't mean it was dirty before this, but it looks so clean. It's fresh.
I think also it's a calming color.
And that's what I need.
With that, may I have motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second motion.
Second. All in favor, state aye.
Ah.
All opposed, Meeting is adjourned. Frankly.
Get it.